Okay, good. It's recording. Wait, I gotta close the door. Okay, we're good. Okay, incense is already lit. Got the Celsius. Got the vape with the cart. We're good to go. Hold up. Okay, I just had to open that up and get a drink, you know? Had to crack open the can like Abby cracked open Joel's head in a game of golf. Ain't nothing like a good old game of Joel and 1, you know what I'm saying? But we're not at that point in the story just yet in regards to what we're about to talk about. No, today we're here to talk about part 1 of the overall Last of Us, Last of I, Last of He, She, They, Them, Last of Everyone, part 1. We're here to talk about where it all began, but now as a TV show, and one that's actually not trash, which is a total shock because, not gonna lie, going into this, when I first heard about it, my initial thoughts were quite mixed, if we're being perfectly real, simply because you look at video game adaptations, and with the exception of Sonic, I mean, what the hell is there? I know that there's the Resident Evil series that was popular. The Street Fighter movies happened. Everyone loves the Super Mario movie from many years ago. That's a cult classic right there. It's almost more of a cult classic than David's cult in this adaptation, but we'll get to that later as well. All I know is that after how Uncharted went in regards to its adaptation, because everyone loves Tom Holland as Nathan Drake of all characters, surely expectations were through the roof going into this. Because why else would you invest into a PlayStation studio for the sake of making shows and movies off of said PlayStation IPs if not for casting Tom Holland as Nathan Drake? Well, it's to cast Pedro Pascal as Joel Miller and Bella Ramsey, who is everyone's favorite character from Game of Thrones, a show I haven't watched, as Ellie Williams, the two main characters of The Last of People, which is honestly, going into this, again, specifically with Ellie, people were a bit hesitant for reasons, but as of now, we are at a point where it turns out that was the best casting choice possible. Bella and Pedro absolutely kill the roles, kind of like Abby killed Joel, but we're not there just yet in the story. Yes, I just want to say this real quickly. There will be spoilers. I'm making an exception, just like with The Last of Us Part 2 review, simply because these are such story-heavy pieces of art. So, for that reason, it's only right to not ignore the elephant in the room. It would it would feel disingenuous of me to. So, yeah, we're gonna do just that, which isn't too common on this channel. But anyways, Joel, Ellie, all the other characters, the whole cast absolutely kills it. Whether it be, what's her name, who plays Tess. I also gotta give credit to Marlene's actress, simply because it's literally the same actress from the game, so, I mean, if the shoe fits, wear it, you know? I also gotta give credit, her name's Ashley Williams, right? I also gotta give huge props to Ashley Williams, who plays Ellie's mom in the show. For those who don't know, she played Ellie in the game. Also, this is something I just realized post-recording. Ellie Williams, Ashley Williams. If the last name alone wasn't enough of a reason to prove that she was born to play both these roles, I don't know what else is. Something that we didn't get to experience with the game simply because it was prevalent in a format that just wouldn't have worked with the sort of storytelling here, and it leads to an explanation for the cordyceps that simply didn't exist in the game, which also leads to explaining how Ellie's immune, which was just simply existed in the game. You know, you took it as, well, this is a rare thing that happens to be a thing, so for that reason we aren't going to question it. No, the show provides logical explanations for all of these questions people have wanted answers to for years, I'm sure. Or at least some people. There's also the intros for the first 2 episodes, which add a whole new layer of scientific logic and explanation for the cordyceps in the show, which only adds a whole new level of surrealism, which just wasn't there present with the games. Which the games already did rely on the idea of what if this fungus, or in the case of the show, cordyceps, was able to not just infect ants, but humans as well. Well, the show takes it one step further, but unlike the game, which relies on gas masks in order to survive spores for the sake of a gameplay mechanic, in the show, seeing as 90% of the dialogue would be muffled by said gas mask, they had to think of a replacement, if you will. And in that case, that being the cordyceps, which in many cases reminds me more of the Flood from Halo than it does just the infected from the games, which only benefits it. And on top of this, only alluding even more to the whole Halo comparisons, you have this sort of hive mind like idea that happens in the show where it can lead to thousands upon thousands of infected being awoken at once. And it's sort of like Left 4 Dead, that instance where you know how in Left 4 Dead, when you signal the alarm for all the infected rushing at you, that sort of thing happens here. And it's pretty cool, and considering the hints that they've already given for part 3, which is inevitable, it's definitely going to be intriguing to see how they go about this now new game mechanic for that title whenever the hell it releases. Something I gotta say though in regard to the infected is, don't get me wrong, I love the focus on the characters and humans, but there definitely could have been a little bit more of the infected in regards to the show here, along with some action, along with some more interactions between Ellie and Joel, specifically in between episodes 8 and 9. I do feel like there is some important interactions that happened between them off screen that only solidified that bond between both characters, which I think could have been done on screen had there been a bit more time. But considering how they've already talked about seasons 2 and onwards, it's pretty safe to say we're going to get plenty of interactions between both characters in the future, with an increased budget, along with the story that they're following here in the form of adapting part 2, which how they're going to go about adapting that is certainly going to be interesting, because as much as the overall outcome of the story is the same with part 1, and much of part 2 is going to be the same, specifically with the whole point of it, that being Joel, and how they handled him sleeping with the fishes, or sleeping with the golf balls. I'll stop for now. For now. How they'll go about it in the show, I think, is, as much as it's going to be a similar outcome, it's going to be a bit different, because you look at the handling of Jackson in part 1, for example, in season 1, I meant to say, for the show, for example, the handling of Jackson and how it is in the show, we're only at that point in part 2 in the game universe. So, having this already be the case with Tommy where he lives, along with Joel's motivations being a bit different, that's something that's a change here, which I do think benefits what they're going for in the show. Regardless of the outcome being similar, I think that this one change definitely does add a new interesting layer on top of the already existing tension that's there. That is still just as much established in the show by what happens once we make our way to Jackson. It makes me really curious to see, on top of all these changes, which, again, you know, different methods, same outcome regardless, how the time jump is going to work, because in the game universe, there's a 5-year gap between parts 1 and 2, whereas this, since Jackson is already a very established town, how much of a time jump is there going to be? I feel like it's going to be closer to 1 to 2 years this time around, and already having Dina established in the form of that cameo appearance, which, you aren't that slick, Craig Mazin, okay? You aren't that slick, Neil Drunkman. Let me just make that one thing clear. We are very much aware of Dina and her presence already being set here, which, so many things already being pushed up that much further in the timeline is going to be interesting. And what'll be interesting is how else Season 2 is going to keep fleshing out all of its side characters, because that's something else that The Last of Us Season 1 highly elevates that, is the way it fleshed out characters such as Bill and Frank, for example. Going into this, we knew that there was going to be a bit more of a focus on these two characters, specifically Frank, because in the game, he was at best a mention, and we were just told that he was Bill's partner. Whereas in the show, we get a fully fleshed out episode, a beautifully crafted and told love story between These two characters, Bill and Frank, who meet under these dire circumstances of the post-apocalyptic world that they are trapped in. Just the two of them coming together and spending what is the entirety of the post-apocalyptic world up to this point together with little to no contact aside from a few interactions, some peaceful, some others not so much. And instead of succumbing to the infected world like you'd think, no, instead succumbing to age and illness and other natural causes of death, but together. And it's only one moment of many that made me cry like a bitch. So, in other words, whereas the game definitely got the tear-jerking moments going, the show turns that into full-on waterfalls in ways you definitely did not think possible beforehand, and it's all the more beautiful for that reason. Granted, the lack of Bill and Ellie interactions is sorely missed, but what we get in exchange for that, I think, only elevates the story in ways that makes it even better, and only adds to the whole theme of love that is so relevant in the Last of Us universe. And as a reminder that amongst all the death and infected and such, there is still some hope in humanity, and there is a silver lining to all the darkness. And that's a part of what makes the messaging so beautiful and brilliant. And all this talk of heavy subject matter and such, I could really use a hit of weed. Hold on. Or the way they handled David and fleshed out his character to where not only is he a horrifying, terrible human being and a groomer and a cannibal, but also has a cult of people in the town that are also cannibals just like him. He also abuses them quite a bit, but, being a cannibal cult leader, that sort of goes hand in hand. Not unlike the hands in which he eats, being a cannibal. So that's literally a given. There's also David's bestie, who is played by Troy Baker, who plays Joel in the games for those of you who don't know, which, don't get me wrong, Troy did a great job with his performance, but something I feel the need to mention, which I don't see anyone else saying anything about at all, which I feel is a bit of a problem in regards to his character in the show, is his constant harassment towards Ellie in regards to his NFT schemes, which maybe this was Troy's own personal input into the script, but frankly, I just really wasn't jiving with this very well, and it's something I found to be quite bothersome every time his character was on screen, which, for all we know, this could be a hint towards Season 2 and onwards, and it's revealed that the truth behind the cordyceps is that they're not cordyceps, but actually NFTs upon ascending into physical form. And it's perhaps revealed that Abby is actually a crypto bro, and upon catching wind of Joel being against crypto, proceeds to go after him for revenge. Which, this is purely a theory, and maybe I should save this for when I mention more of Season 2 later on in the review, but I just felt the need to bring this up right now, because of how important it is. But, anyways. And I gotta say, in regards to the whole grooming part of the David arc, it's quite a shocking that EDP didn't make any sort of cameo appearance, You'd think he would have been perfect for the role, but I guess he was, too tired to make it there. Wasn't enough cupcakes that were worth the heart attack he was, having. But that's okay, because we get to see Ellie's violent side come out and murder this piece of shit in a way that's honestly more satisfying than the game. But man, do they find a way to make him all the more creepier, and holy shit, does it make his character even more memorable for that reason. And this moment, along with many others throughout the show, are perfect one-to-one recreations that are just so accurate, it hurts. Well, maybe it hurts David, but certainly not us, the viewers. And this sort of one-for-one recreation applies to plenty of other moments, just not what I'm talking about. And it really does feel like the perfect fan service and homage to fans of the games for that reason, and can be appreciated by those who haven't played the games. And I could go on and on about other changes that they make here that only benefits the story that much more, but I think I'll just leave it at that. In terms of things I don't like, it's at most nitpicks, such as lack of infected, lack of action. There's also the hospital massacre scene in which Joel's making his way to Ellie's operating room, which, don't get me wrong, it was nice to have the scene, but It was a little too easy on Joel's part, I feel, and I think he should have had a little bit more difficulty making his way through as opposed to activating God mode and playing it like it's Call of Duty. I also think that Episode 7 Left Behind could have done with a little bit more sprucing up. Don't get me wrong, solid episode, but it was a little anime simply because it was literally a one-for-one adaptation. And it was a very well-done adaptation, but I think it could have used something new to add to it a little bit, aside from just cutting the water gun battle. And I know that's not a game, so the lack of action makes sense, but still having a little bit more would be appreciated. But it really seems like, going off receptions, they're taking these criticisms into account and applying them for Season 2. And as for how that's going to go, we'll just have to see how they handle that. And inevitably when Part 3 happens and we get Season 4 and 5 and onwards. And who knows, maybe we'll get a Last of Us 4. Maybe we'll get another season based off of Last of Us Factions, whenever that goddamn multiplayer component happens. All in all, I absolutely loved my time watching this season, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen it. It is a must-watch. Absolutely check it out if you haven't. If you have HBO Max and you haven't checked out the series for any reason, what the hell is wrong with you? You are a disgrace to humanity, and honestly, you deserve the golf club. But for anyone who doesn't have HBO, get HBO simply for the sake of watching this. If someone you know has it, ask if you can borrow it. You can create multiple HBO accounts, alright? Trust me, it's not like Netflix where they took away the ability to add on different accounts without an extra fee. They tried that, and the backlash certainly didn't help, hence the reverting of that choice. So in other words, you have nothing to worry about. Watch the show, you have no excuses. Or Joel will be under your bed with a golf club. Okay, that's enough jokes. And that doesn't make any sense, because it's Abby who has the golf club, but that's gonna be it for this. Okay, look, and at the end of the day, unlike the Part 1 remake, and unlike Part 2 of the game, this is in fact not pointless, but in fact a masterpiece. I've been using that word a lot lately. First it was God of War, then it was Dead Space, and now we're here. So not only is this the conclusion to the Pointless trilogy, this is also the conclusion to the Masterpiece trilogy. Which, look, I am a fan, okay? Don't let the videos deceive you. I love this series. Yes, are the first few videos negative, but that's irrelevant. It's out of love. It's out of tough love, not hate. Don't get the two twisted. But that's going to be it. What are your guys' thoughts on the season if you have seen it? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's going to be it. Hope you all enjoyed. If you didn't, I don't blame you. I would probably hate this video too. But with that being said, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you all next time. But until then, I'm out. Later.